So, how are you all? Everyone doing good? What a nice way to end one year and start a new year, right? So, it is time to review how this year 2015 has gone by. Tomorrow, that's what we'll do. We'll review and what lesson we can take. We'll review and we'll see what lesson we can take from that. How much we have grown. What are the pitfalls we had? How many times we were surrounded by negative clouds and how we could tear them and come up out of it. This is all that we need to pay attention. See what happens in life. You are like these beautiful children, happy, joyful, free, and you have grown up, and in due course, what happens? Time to time, negative cloud comes on you, and then you find this is not good, that is not good, that person is not good, this person is not good, nothing is good. No, I am not good. When I am not good, and anything around me is not good, and nothing is good. Then you get into a muddle. Hasn't this happened to you? For how many of you it has happened? Raise your hand. Raise your hand, raise your hand, raise your hand. Let me see. Then what happened? And then your mind goes, why? And when it happens on all this time, so many toxins get generated in the body. See, remember, 60% of our body is water. More than 60, 70. And these water molecules, the liquid fluid in our body, has memory. It has memory, it contains memory. In India, this has been there in practice from long time. People believed, they knew that water has memory. But today, science has also proved it. Here in Stuttgart, an institute has done a research on water crystals. You might have seen that. How many of you have seen? Water has memory. What did they do? They took water from different people. They asked different people to put one drop of water from the same glass. And they found the pattern of each of those drops was different. So if you touch water and that water takes your memory and its pattern is different, then what they did is they put a flower in that water and then took the drop and then tested. The water had the pattern of the flower. So they took different flower, the pattern again changed. So they proved, the conclusion is the Rhine River is not the same from its origin to where to its end, because throughout its course it takes the memory, the whole path. The Rhine River in Basel is much different than the same river when it goes up north. Where it goes? Kiel? Rotterdam. The same river, by the time it reaches Rotterdam, it's much different. In Köln, it's much different. Because that water is carrying all the impressions. We know this in the pujas, in the yajna. What is done when the chanting is going on, the water is allowed to drop like a thread, as a string on the crystal lingam, and the chanting is going on, and the water absorbs the chantings. In Navratri in India, they do in the kalash, in a pot of water. All these chantings were directed to it. Fire ceremony is directed to the water. And then the water stores all those vibrations. Similarly, when you are sitting and meditating, or when you are singing bhajans, when you are singing the song, every cell of your body, or the fluid in your body, is absorbing those impressions. That's why you feel very elevated and very good. So just imagine if someone is sitting and thinking negative, 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 negative. What has happened? That negative cloud we have created around us. And now we have to pierce through that, throw them out and come up. And that in itself is the sadhana, is the path. And we see in this year how much, that is what satsang is. Satsang is where you have pierced and torn apart the cloud of negativity that has come on to you for whatever reason. The reason is completely irrelevant. Reason is irrelevant. But the fact, how it has come, that is important. It's like there is dust on the carpet. From which window it came, how it came is irrelevant. Did you get it? It might have come through the window, it may come through the ceiling, it might have come through some way. Or you are burning incense and from that it has come, or it has come from the flowers. It's irrelevant. What is relevant? There is dust on the carpet. Instead of looking at the dust and clearing it, we are looking for the window. Oh, it came through this window, this window, this window. It came through that window, that window. We are caught up in looking at the window and still sitting on the dust. This exactly is what happens. Instead of clearing that negative cloud, we attribute it to some cause and we get stuck with the cause. And so, you say this comes from this window, you are opening it, and more wind will come, more dust will come, and you keep your mouth open and sitting there. No. And this is the time to review. What is my life is all about? Why am I here? Why am I here? What is that I want to do? Coming back to the purpose. Otherwise, we get so caught up in small things, insignificant things, forgetting the real thing. Yeah? Celebration is, the prelude to the celebration is revision, revive, review and revive. Review the time and revive the spirit. What is that? Review the events, review the time, and revive the spirit. And that's all. Now we will take the questions. The world is full of information, some of it useful, some of it misleading. How can I keep away from superstitions and all kinds of misleading concepts and stay open for new discoveries? The world is full of information, you take what is needed. See, you have a map. In the map, A to Z map. In that there is map of the whole country, even continent. But you only have to see which road you want to go. These days nobody looks at the map, you all go by GPS. And GPS has got all the roads. We cannot question why it has all this so many information. It should have only the information which I want. No, world is full of information. And time to time it will give us. How to do to want nothing, because the ego wants always something. When wanting nothing is a want. Got it? Just relax. Just imagine just remember when you are having food and you are so full and someone comes and asks you, do you want anything? You say nothing. Don't you say that? My dear, don't you say? Yeah. Suppose you are sitting and someone is serving you food and you have eaten enough, your stomach is more than full, still they come, what do you want? What do you say? I want nothing. Remember that state. There are times when you say, I want nothing. Yeah? You ask all these kids, what do you want? They'll say nothing. When they're not hungry.
How can I be sure to be at my last incarnation?
Whether this is the last incarnation. When you're totally content, then you can see, this is my last incarnation. Even then, there is no criteria. Maybe nature wants you to come back and do some work, then you have to come back and do some work.
If we need to be in love without an object, why, if I meet a man that I like, my heart explodes? Thank you.
What's that?
If love would be without object, then why my heart explodes when I meet a man which I like, whom I like?
Oh. Let it not explode with every man you meet. That's the problem. Then you will be in trouble and they will all be in trouble too. You know, anything can trigger. Instead of looking at the outside, you look at the feeling that it triggers, you know. What is triggered, you look at that. See what I'm saying? You look at somebody and something happens. And instead of focusing on that, you focus on that energy which has exploded within you. This is one of the technique actually. One of the technique of meditation in olden days. Anything so beautiful, anything so romantic, you see, and that has kindled something beautiful within you, and then you close your eyes and or even with eyes open, you put your attention there. What is happening? Your heart is bubbling with energy, it's rising up. That moment meditation will happen. That moment meditation happens. This is the reason ancient temples, if you go to old temples in India, you will find all type of erotic statues all around the temple. All type of beautiful statues around. Because beauty kindles that. Something beautiful that kindles something deep inside of you. So, the ancient people knew this. That's why they asked you to first go around the temple, look at all those nice, beautiful figures, and get those feelings inside, then you go into the temple. Then you go sit in front of the deity. Even the deity is decorated so beautifully. So they put both statues, male and female. So the female statue so beautifully decorated, Radha, and male statue Krishna is decorated, and you sit and you realize you are both. Inside you is both father and mother. And you, all this decoration, you look and then you fill yourself with the beauty, sit and dissolve in the beauty. This is a technique by itself. In fact, there was no person as Radha at all. And Radha is only the power of Krishna, the female aspect of Krishna. If you see Krishna's biography written as Srimad Bhagavatam, there is not a mention of Radha anywhere. We say Radha Krishna, it's so known. It's to create that romantic or a beautiful feeling. They said Radha is the power of Krishna. Radha means longing, Krishna is the attraction. So they created both and said, okay, you look at this so beautiful, and you sit. See, Lord Buddha is little different. In Buddha, it's only peace, silence, emptiness. So Buddha is there, Buddha statue is there, you look at the statues, you become silent, you become quiet, you become empty. Emptiness was the whole goal of Buddhism, Buddha. But with Krishna, it's fullness of joy, fullness of romance, there's a fullness of ultimate bliss. And so they depict it that way. Yeah. But the aim of both is turning inward into meditation.
Dear Guruji, please tell us about Jesus and your connection to him.
Jesus is love, and we are all love. Everyone is made up of love, but many don't realize, and I know it, that's all.
Guruji, we have heard of people talking about celibacy required for spiritual progress. Please throw some light on that.
Celibacy helps to conserve energy. Spirituality is uplifting the energy. You know, pleasure depletes you of energy and leads you to inertia. Not just only celibacy, but also see about any of the five senses. When you overdo it, how exhausted you feel. For example, food. Food is essential. You take little food, you feel good, energetic, and you can meditate. But if you eat too much food, you don't feel energy, you feel dull, you feel like lying down, you feel a sort of inertia has overtaken you. Similarly, sex can lead you into a deep, into very heavy inertia. And spirituality is against inertia of any sort, whether through food or you watch two movies at once, watching a television continuously. See what happens. Later on, you close your eyes, you feel your whole brain is jammed. How many of you have experienced this?
Well, I don't.
Raise your hand. Watching anything, seeing anything too long can cause inertia in the brain. That bubbling enthusiasm, uplifting energy you don't feel. Right? So, eating, touching, seeing, smelling, any of these can, done excessively, can cause inertia, and that is not congenial for spiritual advancement. But if you ask me, then if you are a couple, should you never have sex at all to move forward in spiritual path? I say that is not the case. That is not the case. It's not a hindrance. In moderation, in excess, it is disaster. And suppression is also not needed. If you are having the feeling and you are trying to suppress it, if it's not natural, you are trying to suppress it overly, then also it can create that same heaviness or inertia in your mind. To me, when as the spiritual growth happens, celibacy is a spontaneous thing, automatic. Because you are already in a state of peak, you don't need to rub yourself to get some experience. Rub against another body to get into height. There is a natural outburst of energy inside of you, and celibacy has happened. If you ask me personally, it is not something you practice with force, it's something that comes to you naturally and it happens to you. You have really no interest in those things. Either age, as you progress in your age, it doesn't appeal to you or attract you as much as it would have done to you when you were a teenager. Either through age or through past life sanskaras, impressions, if you have been a yogi in the past life, then it doesn't create that urge or taste in you for that. You feel that's nothing in it. Or the third thing is, if you are moderate in your food, if you are not eating too much food or too much indulgence, if you are having a moderation in your life, then also you can have a say over it. So with these different parameters, what can manage this? Otherwise, lust has created a humongous problem in the world. Many crimes have happened or happening today because of uncontrolled lust. Right? Uncontrolled lust has created humongous problem in the world. All heartbreaks, emotional outbursts, blah 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 blah, all that, waste of human hours, thinking about somebody, thinking about something, or what they said, what he said, where, blah 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 blah. All that issues, it has spoiled the relationship between people also. One of the reason of bitterness in the world, one of the major reason of bitterness in the world is lack of one's control on oneself. We attribute it to the others. Yeah. So with lack of spirituality, what happens? The intense joy or pleasure you have experienced with your partner can turn bitter and cause much more heartbreak if there is no wisdom. And this is what is happening all over. Isn't it? Isn't it? Because someone has given you intense pleasure, and that they will also give you intense with them. If you have no wisdom, you will find them as a cause of your misery also. If you are miserable, you don't see the cause something else. You point out to the one who has given you pleasure, physical pleasure. So it's a wisdom that take you away from it. The wisdom is looking at the sensations of intense pain or pleasure within you. Then you have altogether a different view about the entire phenomenon.
I hear a lot of gurus. Um, is it the same knowledge, just in different ways? Yeah, different. Some names.
No. They're all different paths. So it's better to be in one path, otherwise you get so confused. Respect everybody, but don't read too many of everything, because one will say something, another will say something, third will say something. And but their roots are their methodologies are different. Okay. You can respect them, and but no need to follow too many things. If you have not at all satisfied with what you are doing, then you come to the teacher, ask, I am totally not. The teacher will suggest, okay, then you go to that path or that path. Then teacher themselves, I myself will tell you, you can go into this path if you are not happy, satisfied. If this has not given you any experience at all, no point in holding there. But you should give a fair trial. Do it enough time for that. Okay.